Last spring, Jen Johnson said, we're going to start a new thing next year for Basecamp, and we're going to do common reads. And so she said 10th grade is going to read The Heart and the Fist. They read in the fall, and they're reading The Emerald Mile in the spring.
They've been reading this book, The Emerald Mile, and it's about the history of Glen Canyon Dam, the history of how we use the Colorado River, and so on.
So I really started to think about how can we make this book accessible? How can we make it come to life? How can we make it meaningful for them? And how can we turn this into a cross-curricular expedition that will really get the kids on board with what we're trying to do?
So a big part of Basecamp is taking what everybody has to learn at the school, the curriculum for the entire school, and making it local and relevant for the students. So for example, a standard in world history, in 10th grade world history, is that students investigate the history of and development and impact of technology on society. And so what we're doing with this project is the kids are looking at the history and development and impact of hydroelectric dam technology, of the technology of dams, the development of hydroelectric engineering, and so on. And so, but we're making it local for them.
My name is Naomi Wood, and I went on a field trip with my Basecamp class, and we went on the train to the Tacoma Power Plant, and we learned about how they use water for energy. And pretty much there's a big pipe that goes down the side of the mountain, and they use it to force water down the mountain and produce more speed so that they can produce more energy. Then it goes into these turbines and it spins it really fast, and they have 2 turbines that produce 2 megawatts each, and 1 watt can power 1,000 houses. So combined, they can produce power for 4,000 houses just from the Tacoma Power Plant. And pretty much the water just goes down the pipe and into the turbines, and it spins it around, and then it just stores the energy into the grid, and then it goes into LaPlata Electric's grid, and that's a lot of the power that we get from LaPlata Electric.
So my name is Lane Clements, and this trip was really important in our class studies because it helped bring the book that we're reading in relation to these studies, The Emerald Mile, to life. So we could actually see how a dam works and how hydroelectricity works and how that supplies us with the power and energy and electricity we need.
With this case, they went up to Tacoma Power Plant and they looked at when was this created, what is the actual history of the Tacoma Power Plant, and what are the benefits of it. But what we're going to kind of continue to investigate is all technology has benefits, but it has costs. And so the nice thing is the kids are going to become experts on not only how this has improved society, this technology, but the costs. And eventually they're going to have to take a stand and defend that stand.
We use the English piece as sort of a scaffolding to help them move through the text and also to progress through the ideas of where they're going, because they're getting all the base information now, and pretty soon they're going to have to start coming up with ideas about, well, this is the real issue, a problem, hydroelectric power and water in the West. It's a huge issue with droughts and whatnot. And then the supporting piece of my class is we look at the 5 principles of collapse from Jared Diamond's book, Collapse. And so they focus on that, which shows the documentary and the book shows sort of what a future is probably going to look like if we don't change the course of what we're doing now. And so the kids have to extrapolate from that, okay, what are the possible solutions to stop this, because there's not going to be enough water for people to keep living in Phoenix and Tucson and San Diego forever. It's just we're running out of water because of the climate change and whatnot. So that piece is really where it's all about scaffolding learning for the kids in terms of, okay, you guys are getting all the the nitty gritty dirt information from science and social studies, and my piece is the support to, okay, we're going to take these ideas and this information that you have, and now you really have to problem solve and kick your critical thinking into high gear to solve the problems later.
They're going to start developing these big projects. And some examples of that are they might create a scale model of the Colorado River watershed, including all the dams along it, or they might have a scale model of a hydroelectric power plant and have to identify all the working parts. Another option would be to have basically a sketchbook of conceptual drawings that show the development of dam technology over time. But in all three of these options, they need to speak specifically to the technology and the history and development of the technology, but what also are the social, political, and economic impacts of this technology. Good, positive impacts and costs as well.
The cool thing is that as the kids learn about the dams and they learn about the cost-benefit analysis of the dams, then they got to see a hydroelectric dam at Tacoma Power Plant, and then we're going to take them to Glen Canyon so they can actually see this dam and see the different scales.
And in about a little over a month, they'll go to the Powerhouse Museum, Science Museum, and they're going to be hosting Pub Science, which is this evening educational program for the community. And at Pub Science, they will present their projects and they'll speak to all they know about this, and also in addition to presenting their stands or recommendations.
So we're going to take them to Glen Canyon. They're going to be gone May 13th through the 16th, and they're going to do 4 big things while they're there. They're going to visit Lake Powell. They're going to do the tour of the dam. They have a Powell Museum there, and so we're going to do a tour of the museum, and then we're going to take them to Horseshoe Bend, because that's one of the most photographed places, beautiful places in the world. You have to go there. And then they're going to go to Antelope Canyon. So we got them tours to go do Antelope Canyon, and they'll have Native American guides, and they'll talk about, it's really interesting listening to them talk about their perspectives about energy and power in the area, and bringing in the Navajo Nation, primarily Native American point of view about what do they think about. They have a huge dam and a huge coal-burning power plant right there, but they don't get any of that energy. And so there's a lot of things there, a lot of who's right, who has the power to make decisions about energy and resources, who has a right to them, and who decides who gets what. And so they'll get a different perspective during that trip for sure.
I'm Pandora Tucker, and I like expeditionary learning because it's more of a hands-on experience. So we get to go out and actually do things instead of just being in a classroom and staring at textbooks. We actually get to go out and experience things and then pull all that information from the outside into what we're learning in the classroom. And then the whole point of it is just get our hands and get experience with things that we don't normally get to do in the classroom.
In May, they're going to go to Glen Canyon Dam, and they're going to investigate the dam, and they're going to bring everything together. What's going to be so amazing is that they're going to be able to finish reading the book while they're there. So I could just imagine, they're sitting at Horseshoe Bend, and it's late in the afternoon, and all the red rocks are fiery red because of the sun, and they're going to finish reading this incredible story, and they're going to be sitting right there. And it's just so amazing to give kids the opportunity to accomplish something that's really hard, to believe in something. For some of them, it will become a passion, and they might pursue it throughout their life. It just gives them this chance to add the relevance to school. Why do I go to high school? Why did I pick Basecamp? Why am I doing that? Well, I picked Basecamp because I want to learn in different environments and in different ways. I picked Basecamp because I want to challenge myself and stand up for what I believe, and I want to work on my critical thinking, and I work on my problem solving, my teamwork skills. I want to get to know a group of people that's always going to be there for me, whether they're other students or whether they're teachers. That's why I chose Basecamp. We want our students to feel that, to know what that means. So I feel like this expedition, Emerald Mile Expedition, it gives us, it makes us part of who we are. It makes us expeditionary learning. It makes us Basecamp.